So here is the G-SHOCK all metal as it sits on my wrist currently. Now, I've actually been wearing this for the past few days, and it needs a cleaning, and it actually needs a clean up because it's pretty scratched. So we're going to talk about how this watch has held up over the past 7 months since I first bought it and first did the review. And I'll let you know my, I guess, final thoughts and comments on the G-SHOCK all metal. So if we get up close here, you're going to be able to see how scratched up this watch actually is. That doesn't look too bad here under the lights, but probably once I record and I transfer this and edit it and put it on my iPad, of course the clasp is going to have a bunch of scratches on it. You're going to see more scratches on it here as well. As I said, it needs a cleaning also. So let's go ahead and concentrate on the most scratches and dings. You're going to see that ding and gouge down in there. When I turn the watch here under the lights, you could see all the scratches in the bezel area. It's also pretty highly scratched on the lug area here as well, which is polished. So here's the thing, I'm going to clean this up and put it back on my wrist. And I could really get involved with cleaning it up, besides just brushing the bracelet and using a Cape Cod cloth on the high polished lugs. I could probably get a fiberglass pen and go ahead and try and redo that bezel. But you know what? I'll probably end up making it worse. So I'll clean it up the best I can. And in the end, I'm going to continue wearing it the way I have been wearing it, which is as a G-SHOCK. And any scratches or dings it gets adds a little character. So let's talk about the Bluetooth feature that I don't really use. And I like the fact that it syncs up to the app. I like the fact that it gets updates 4 times a day and, it's always accurate. And that is great. But I rarely ever, I couldn't tell you the last time I opened the app. And so that's just, that whole thing of the Bluetooth is really not a feature that I use. I more or less like the look, and the all stainless band and the old school G-SHOCK look is what really draws me to continue to wear this watch. So much so that I'll get a review watch in and I'll take it off after a couple of days and I put this one back on, or any other watch. This watch doesn't go long off, off of my wrist. Let's put it that way. One of the quirks, though, or one of the things I wanted to talk about, I have the auto light feature on, and I've had it on since the day I got it. And if you're standing or you're sitting down and you're just raising your wrist up like you would normally to look at the time, and you give your wrist just a little turn, that auto light feature hits for about 1.5 seconds, and it illuminates the screen, and it's great. But in bed, when you're laying down, or if you're on the couch laying down, whatever, it really doesn't do that great of a job. And that's weird to me, only because I think, well, this is, I wear my watches to sleep, and that's a feature I really like because, the regular watches would say the Tritium or the Super Luminova, and, it's middle of the night, you got to get up, or you just, you're rolling over and you're like, oh, what time is it? And you take a look down, you can see what time it is at a glance. This one, not so much, especially if I'm laying, flat on my back. I'll go ahead and I'll raise my wrist up to take a look at the time, and it doesn't illuminate. I have to kind of then give it like a weird twisting motion to get that sensor to activate to be able to illuminate the screen. And that's just annoying. I mean, it's obviously not stopping me from wearing the watch or anything, but it's just annoying, I guess, the way that sensor is calibrated in there to go off. It just doesn't work unless you have that very specific motion. Something I forgot about, though, when I'm talking about the Bluetooth portion of it is the Find Your Phone feature. So I showed the app in my original review, and anybody that hasn't seen the original review, I'll link it in the description down below. But I mentioned and I showed on video that one of the cool features, at least I thought one of the cool features, was, if you set it up with the app, you could hit the button in the lower right-hand part of the watch case there, And you hold it for about 2 seconds, and then it'll make an audible alert on your cell phone. Pretty cool, especially if you misplace your phone a lot of the time. Has a pretty decent range on it as well. And if you're trying to find your phone, like say you're in the house or whatever, I guess just walk around the house if it's not working, it gets closer into range. But, if you lost it in the couch cushion or something, you can't see the phone and you're standing in your living room, it'll start making the audible alert and you'll be able to find it. Funny thing is, though, until just about 2 days ago, somebody made a comment on the original review and said, hey, I always thought Bluetooth was a gimmick until I saw that Find My Phone feature. Man, is that cool. And that's when I realized I don't know when the last time is that I used that feature, even though I know I've put my phone down or, walking around the house or wherever, and I'm like, oh man, where the hell is my phone? And I forget that I have that feature on there. So why have I been wearing this watch so much? Why do I take a review watch off or another watch off after a couple of days and I put this back one on, this one back on for, say another 3-4 days at a time? Honestly, I just really like the look. I never thought that I would be wearing a digital watch again, just especially in 2018. The other day I really contemplated ordering the new Apple Watch 4. And talk about pricing. I complained, or I shouldn't say complained, but I talked heavily about the price of this watch, which is still $500 retail, unless you find it somewhere and they have a discount that they're offering 10 or 20%. Maybe you can get it for like $400, $450 or whatever. Secondary market is still kind of crazy on this too. It goes for more than $500 most of the time. And I talked about that and, the fact that it was just, it's a metal G-Shock. And, and I talked about smartwatches and how I'm like really not into them. So it's weird that I continue wearing this. But I looked at the Apple Watch 4 the other day. The aluminum one starts at $400. The all stainless steel one, depending if you go with the 40 or 44 millimeter, starts at like, what is it, $599, $699 for them. And then, of course, if you want the cellular, you have to pay, an extra $10 a month to your carrier. And I'm going, man, not that there's anything wrong with that. Anybody out there that is watching this has an Apple Watch of any kind. But for me, I'm thinking, man, for $700, the amount of watches that you can have, and the fact that I just don't know if I consider that to be a watch. Yeah, it's called a watch, but it's really, it tells the time, but it's just really like almost a mirror, if you will, of your smartphone, of your iPhone. You could put the certain apps on it that you want. You could track this and do that. You could, get your text messages, whatever. You could make a call with, it's more of a cell phone companion to me anyway than a watch. This is a watch, and yes, that $500 price tag still kind of, it's like, I love the watch, I wear the watch, and I appreciate the watch for what it is, and I really love the look of it. I guess it's really just that old school thing and that all metal. It just looks good to me. I actually get a lot of compliments on it, people digging it, people know the Casio name and G-Shock name, and even if they're not into watches, like say most of us, me, myself included, most of the people probably watching this video, people know Casio, know G-Shock, so they're like, oh, that's so cool, look at that. I still wish the price was probably about $350 versus $500. In the end, it was worth it to me, absolutely. I get a lot of use at it, and even though it's all scratched up, and here's the deal, it's going to get even more scratched, and that's what it is. It's, you have that brushed stainless bezel, and unlike, say, a dive watch, where you have a stainless steel or titanium bezel, that's usually just a bezel, and then you either have an aluminum or ceramic or sapphire insert, which is going to protect it. I will say one of the things that I had wished for was a sapphire crystal, because this has a standard mineral crystal, as most G-Shock watches do. I'll have to say the bezel does a good job. I can't find, I've looked really closely, I can't find a scratch on the crystal itself. So in the end, was it worth it to me? Well, of course it was, because I've been getting a lot of use out of it, and I've been wearing it a lot. And yes, it's expensive for what it is and the type of G-Shock it is, that classic old school G-Shock, but just all in metal. But sometimes you don't need to rationalize it. Sometimes you don't have to sit there and go value for dollar and go, oh man, I can get this, and oh man, I can get that. that can be said with almost any product, really. The reality is I love it. I love the look. I love how comfortable it is, and I get a lot of use out of it. And maybe I got to be careful when I'm going to Five Guys bathrooms, because when to walk into the Five Guys bathrooms, and for those of you that have never been to a Five Guys, it's mostly on the East Coast. It's a burger joint. And they got all metal doors and metal door frames, really solid stuff. And I went to go to the bathroom. I opened the door, and a female employee was in there. She was like cleaning up. And it just startled me to see a female in the men's bathroom. And when I did, I kind of backed up a little bit, and I smacked the watch right off the inside of the metal door frame. And that's where that ding on the bezel area came from. But I love the watch, and as I said, if you could find it for a deal, even better. If you really like the look of this one, I never here to tell you to buy a watch, no matter where it came from. If I got it for review, if I bought it myself, I'm not here to tell you to buy a watch. That's not what we do here. That's ludicrous. Why would I tell you? I love it. I like it. It fits me perfect. It fits great. It's comfortable, and it just has a coolness factor, and maybe not to you, but it does to me. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more of our content and stay up to date with it, go ahead and hit that notification bell twice, subscribe to the channel, and that way you will never miss any of our content. If you want to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, it is @WatchReport. Thanks for watching. Talk to you on the next one.